Shall we start, Mamata?
Yes, sir. Yes, sir.
In the last class, which we did discuss about psychometry. So, Madam was talking about the details of psychometry. This is the second or third time she's talking about this. But then, whenever she mentions, we have to get into those details. So, she talked about psychometry and she said, and she quoted Professor Denton, psychometry was practiced extensively by the ancients. The Chaldean astrologers knew about the details of planets and the relationship between planets using meteoric stone than using astronomical instrument. Meteor is something like a ulka or upagrahamulaga, meteoric stone than using astronomical instruments. Strabo, Pliny, Hellenicus, they all speak of electrical, electromagnetic power of antique divine stones. The Egyptians used to worship these stones, wear these stones, which they feel have come down from heaven. I'm just reading. We'll commence the new class. Maybe this also allows other people to join. And our powerful magnetic stones. The stone contains the souls of heavenly bodies. Professor Buchanan says using psychometry can be useful to detect vice and crime. Professor Buchanan says using psychometry one can detect vice and crime. How secretly kept? Using psychometry one can gaze criminal acts, detect guilt and nullify the concealment. That's where we stopped. That's where we stopped last time. Then, Madam Blavatsky is now mentioning about porphyry, Porphyry. This is the name of the person, porphyry. He says, elementary beings which are invisible, because I said last class that she is shifting her focus to elementary beings again. So, Porphyry says, the elementary beings which are invisible have been worshipped by man like man worshipped gods. Gods, small g. Mr. Porphyry says, the elementary beings which are invisible have been worshipped by man like man worshipped gods. They are capable of being malevolent, cause evil, beneficent, malevolent, malignant, just like that, malevolent, cause evil. They act against those who neglect them. They act against those who neglect them, or get angry with those who do not worship them. So this is what the gentleman Porphyry is saying. Porphyry, you can always, Porphyry, Porphyry. This is the name of the person. He says elementary beings which are invisible have been worshipped by man like man worships gods. They are capable of being malevolent, cause evil. They act against those who neglect them or get angry with those who do not worship them. This is what he had to say about elementary beings. Mr. Homer says, gods appear when we offer them sacrifice. This is what Homer is saying. Homer, another gentleman of the scientist community or philosophers community, he says, gods appear when we offer them sacrifice. Even this God is G-O-D-S, small g. They come and mingle and taste the festive time meals along with us at our table. This is what Homer is saying. Homer says, gods appear when we offer them sacrifice. They come and mingle and taste the festive time meals along with us at our table. These gods, the small g as I have been mentioning, these gods are beneficent daemons, D-A-E-M-O-N-S, in between people, between divine and man. That's what we understood as daemons. Daemons. These gods are beneficent daemons, and even if they are elementary beings, they were not devils. Even if they are elementary beings, they were not devils. Some of them may be disembodied spirits. So this is what Homer is saying. Homer. Mr. Homer says, gods appear when we offer them sacrifice. They come and mingle and taste the festive time meals along with us at our table. These gods are beneficent daemons. These daemons are not the usual demons, but the daemons. These are the type of beings who are in between an angel and a human. So between a divine person and a man. So these beings are called daemons. These gods are beneficent daemons, says Homer. And even if they are elementary beings, they were not devils. Even if they are elementary beings, they were not devils. Devil is the one which does all the evil things. So he says, though they are elementary beings, they were not devils. Some of them may be disembodied spirits. Some of them could have been those who have become that sort of spirits after the death of the physical body. Disembodied spirits. Again, Mr. Porphyry says, these daemons, daemons, are invisible, but they can wear a form if they want. She is bringing in Mr. Porphyry again. He says, these daemons are invisible, but they can wear a form if they want. That means, if they wish, they can wear a form. Otherwise, they don't have a form. They're invisible. But they can wear a form if they want. They live in the neighborhood of earth. They live in the neighborhood of earth. They say they employ brute force. They employ brute force. They are cunning and mischievous at times. They can arouse cruel passions very easily. So these are all the qualities of these beings. Porphyry says, these daemons are invisible, but they can wear a form if they want. So if they wish, they can take a form, otherwise normally they are invisible. That's what he is saying. They live in the neighborhood of earth, very close to earth, not in the ether, not far away. They are living very close to earth. That's why it is said, they live in the neighborhood of earth. They employ brute force. They employ brute force. They can use tremendous amount of force. They are cunning and mischievous at times. They can arouse cruel passions in man very easily. So the persons who are perhaps possessed or overpowered by these beings, it is very easy for those beings, or thus elementary beings, to arouse cruel passions in human beings. And they pass time, means they spend time mostly cheating mortals and human beings. So they spend time, these elementary beings, who are also called daemons, mostly spend time by cheating mortals and human beings. These elementaries create illusions. They create illusions. They want to pass off as gods or as souls. This is what they would like to be recognized as. Actually, they are not gods, they are not souls. But they would like to pass off like that. Means they will act. So they will create illusion as if they are gods of souls. Disembodied spirits. They are actually disembodied spirits. Porphyry said, elementary beings, they are invisible, have been worshipped by man like man has worshipped gods. They are capable of being malevolent, cause the evil. They act against those who neglect them or get angry with those who do not worship them. Mr. Homer says, gods appear when we offer them sacrifice. Gods appear when we offer them sacrifice. He is using the small g, meaning the lower gods, not the universal or the ultimate God. Gods appear when we offer them sacrifice. They come and mingle and taste the festive time meals along with us. I'm doing it again because Krishnamurti has joined just now. You should not miss the link. And taste the festive time meals along with us at our table. These gods are beneficent demons, and even if they are elementary beings, they were not devils. They were not devils. Some of them may be disembodied spirits. Disembodied spirits meaning people who have suffered the physical death and their spirit is somewhere nearby. Mr. Porphyry says, these demons are invisible, but they can wear a form if they want. They live in the neighborhood of earth. They say, it is said that they live very close to the earth. The neighborhood of earth means they are not far away, somewhere nearby to the earth, so that any incantation or prayer to them, they come immediately. So they live in the neighborhood of earth, employ brute force. They are capable of employing brute force. They are cunning and mischievous at times. They can arouse cruel passions very easily in man. They can arouse cruel passions very easily in man. They pass time, meaning they spend time mostly cheating mortals and human beings. So this is their pastime. They cheat mortals and human beings. These elementaries create illusions. They want to pass off as gods or as souls. They are actually disembodied spirits. Now Madam is quoting Mr. Iamblichus, the theurgist, says, good demons appear to us, but the evil ones take shadowy forms. Iamblichus says, he's a theurgist who believes in rituals and all that, and he says, good demons appear to us, but the evil ones take shadowy forms. Good ones accept light, they're comfortable with light, but evil ones shun light and run away from light. They make things appear as if they are real. This is what they are capable of. Illusions, causing illusions. They make things appear as if they are real. Mr. Iamblichus says, through prayers we can invoke gods, angels, demons, and even these elementary beings. But if any mistakes occur during the process of prayer, be aware. Always, we may not be dealing with the beneficent spirits. The malevolent may appear in the form of beneficent and causes harm. This is what Mr. Iamblichus is saying. Mr. Iamblichus, the theurgist, says, good demons appear to us, but the evil ones take shadowy forms. They are not that easily visible, whereas the good demons appear before us, but the evil ones take shadowy forms. Good ones accept light, they function in light. Evil ones shun light and run away from light. They, meaning these elementary beings, make things appear as if they are real. They will make things appear as if they are real. So they cause illusions. Mr. Iamblichus says, through prayers we can invoke gods, angels, demons, and these elementary beings. But if any mistakes occur during the prayer or during the process, be aware. That's what is the caution given by Iamblichus. always we may not be dealing with beneficent spirits. The malevolent may appear in the form of beneficent and causes harm. So this is what they're capable. The malevolent means people or the elementary beings who can cause us harm might appear like they are beneficent and causes harm. So the prayers which we offer, we have to be careful to see who is coming and who is appearing. That's what Iamblichus means. Iamblichus believed in rituals. He was a theurgist. Theurgists are people who worship the ultimate through rituals. Mr. Baron D. Potet, P-O-T-E-T, B-A-R-O-N, D is like Mr. Baron D. Potet. This person has also appeared in the previous chapters. So Mr. Baron D. Potet says, these elementary spirits exist outside of us. Yes, there are people who are living outside of us. They can enter in us. That's the operative statement. Mr. Baron D. Potet says, these elementary beings exist outside of us, but they can enter in us. Enter into us, it means. Move our limbs and organs. Move our limbs and organs. So they can, though the real person is not wanting to move the limbs or organs and the organs, these elementaries are capable of moving the limbs and the organs of the person through entering them. So normally these elementary beings are existing outside of us. They can enter into us, move our limbs and organs. They are very potent and powerful. This is what Homer also said. They've got brute force. So they're very potent and powerful. And they can use us as they like. They have got an agenda and they can use us as they like to fulfill their agenda. So this is something which we have to note. They use us as they like. All the elders, fathers, forefathers believed in their existence. So for time immemorial, all the older generations also believed in the existence of these elementary spirits, is what Baron D. Potet is saying. All the elders, fathers, forefathers believed in their existence. Every religion accepted the existence of these spirits. Every religion accepted the existence of these spirits. So what Baron D. Potet said, we'll examine it once. These elementary spirits, elementary beings exist outside of us. They can enter into us. They're capable of moving our limbs and organs and use us as they like. These elementary beings use us as they like to achieve their ends. They are very potent and powerful. All the elders, fathers, forefathers believed in their existence. Every religion accepted the existence of these spirits. So all the religions, they say yes, these elementary beings are there. So that's what it means. Every religion accepted the existence of these spirits. H.P. Blavatsky says, there is self-complacency. There is self-complacency, a feeling of satisfaction of one's own understanding or belief. This is self-complacency. HPB says there is self-complacency, a feeling of satisfaction of one's own understanding or belief. And this is standing in the way of a modern spiritualist getting enlightened. So she's coming back to the spiritualist. Spiritualists are those people who are playing with the spirits of the dead. And HVB is saying self-complacency is a feeling of satisfaction of one's own understanding or belief, is the one which is standing in the way of a modern spiritualist getting enlightened. Why is he not getting enlightened? Is because he says or he thinks that what he knows is true. So that complacency is the thing which is preventing him from understanding what is real. So she is mentioning this self-complacency, a feeling of satisfaction of their own understanding and belief, is the one which is standing in the way of a modern spiritualist getting enlightened. I can understand if an age-old spiritualist had that sort of a feeling. But even modern spiritualists, they subscribe to this theory. They think what they know is final. So they are not able to get out of that zone. So they are not able to get enlightened as to what's happening in the seance room. All the years they have spent with the phenomena seem to have only strengthened their belief in it. So they have a belief that they are calling exactly the spirit whom they are inviting. If Mr. A has passed away and somebody is inviting Mr. A's spirit and the medium is sitting there readily and they believe Mr. A has come and entered into that medium. So which may not be the case. That's what Madam H. Blavatsky went on explaining to them. So all these years they have spent with the phenomena, means that particular method of inviting the spirits, inviting the dead spirits into the medium. The phenomena seem to have only strengthened their belief in it. They seem to be believing more and more of it. They really think that the person whom they are actually inviting is coming and occupying the medium. The spiritualists are convinced that the dead spirits communicate, and this proves the spirits' immortality. This is what they believe. They think the spirit is immortal, and all these modern spiritualists also are convinced that the dead spirits communicate. The dead spirits communicate. So they are thinking the dead spirit of a particular individual whom they have in mind is coming and communicating. That's the problem. That's not what is happening. Actually, Mr. A, if he has passed away, Mr. A's spirit is not coming and occupying the medium. Somebody, like the elementary beings which we talked about, some disembodied spirit is occupying the medium and posing as if he is Mr. A or the spirit of Mr. A. So this is the fallacy in which they are existing. So HPB is saying self-complacency is a feeling of satisfaction of one's own understanding or belief is the one which is standing in the way of a modern spiritualist getting enlightened. All the years they have spent with the phenomena seem to have only strengthened their belief in it. The spiritualists are convinced that the dead spirits communicate, and this proves the spirit's immortality. So this is what they believe. Since they are able to communicate, those spirits are immortal, is what they say. There is also another belief: no information of the other world can be known otherwise than through mediums. This is another belief they have. If you want to know something about the other world, it's only through the medium we know. That's another false belief they have. There is also another belief that no information of the other world can be known otherwise than through mediums. So medium is sitting there, he is chosen, and the person who is coming and occupying, they think is the right person whom they have invoked. That person is coming, that person's spirit is coming and occupying the medium and conveying all the information about the other world. So this is another fallacy or another misbelief they have. So the first misbelief is that the spirit's immortality is there, spirit is able to communicate, the dead spirits communicate, is the first fallacy. There is also another belief: no information of the other world can be known otherwise than through mediums. There are other ways in which we can understand and get to know the other world, but the spiritualists believe that only the medium can convey the details of the other world. So this is what we have seen. spiritualists say they don't care for the past records or history, says Madam Blavatsky. Spiritualists don't care for past records or history. Even if they are conscious of the history, they believe that will have no bearing or impact on what they are experimenting or experiencing. So this is the thing. So they are so sold on this spiritualism. Spiritualists don't care for past records or history. Even if they are conscious of the history, they believe that will have no bearing or impact on what they are experiencing or experimenting. So even if the past records or history is proving otherwise, they're not prepared to take it. They're not prepared to accept it. So though they are conscious of the history, they believe that will have no bearing or impact on what they are experiencing or experimenting. So they know there are certain historical evidences to the contrary of what they believe in, but still they would like to go with that experience and experimenting with the dead spirits. This is what spiritualists are made of. This is what Madam Blavatsky is saying. Spiritualists don't care for past records or history, even if they are conscious of the history, even if by chance they are accepting or they see the history and they're conscious of that, they believe that will have no bearing or impact. That particular incident which they have seen in history, they don't want to examine it, and they feel that it has no bearing or impact on what they're experiencing or experimenting. So they will continue with their experiments, they'll continue with their experiencing. So they don't want to superimpose the history and understand the concept differently. Madam Blavatsky says, lot of problems were solved by theologists. And they have left the keys which can be used to attain knowledge. Lot of problems were solved by theologists. Theologists are those people who perform ceremonies and do chase away the spirits, invoke the superior gods, etc., etc. So, lot of theologists, they have solved a lot of problems and they have left the keys which can be used to attain knowledge. So this is what we have studied about Iamblichus. We called him a theologist because it was mentioned by the book that he was a theologist. A theologist is one who is believing and using the rituals to chase away the evil, invite the good spirits. All that they could do. So HPB is saying lot of problems were solved by theologists and they have left the keys. Keys mean the solutions which can be used to attain knowledge. HPB wonders whether it is possible that nature has changed. HPB wonders whether it is possible that nature has changed its work, and are we experiencing the presence of different spirits, or have the laws changed? This is the question. The question is, HPB wonders whether it is possible that nature has changed. Is that the reason why they're still sticking to the old theory? Has it changed its work? And are we experiencing the presence of different spirits, or have the laws changed? The nature's laws, have they changed? The nature of law, has it changed? And because of that, because there is a change, are we experiencing the presence of different spirits? Is the question which Madam Blavatsky has posed. She knows the answer, but she has put this question. Spiritualist imagines he knows more than the priest class. spiritualists imagine that they know more than the priest class or theologians who have spent lifetimes studying these spirits. Spiritualists imagine, they're not real, they imagine that they know more than the priest class or theologians who have spent lifetimes studying these spirits. When the work of the ancients, theologians are properly understood through patient study, HPB says it will mark a new dawn. Madam is saying, when the work of the ancient theologians are properly understood, if they are properly understood what they have done, how they have driven the evils away and invited established good spirits and all the rest of it, and if this is understood, if this ancient theologians' work is understood, properly understood, through patient study, what we need is patience to understand what they have done. So through patient study, H.P. Blavatsky says, it will mark a new dawn. That will be a new beginning. That will be a new beginning, new dawn. Sunrise, it means D-A-W-N, dawn. It will mark a new dawn, and new discoveries in the field of psychology will see the light of the day. So not only that, it will become a new dawn, but the discoveries in the field of psychology will be different. They will be new, and they will hit the day, or they will appear as facts. So this is what this particular chapter has to end here. The 9th chapter has to end here. So we'll just go through. HPB is saying, self-complacency, a feeling of satisfaction of one's own understanding or belief, is the one which is standing in the way of a modern spiritualist getting enlightened. All the years they have spent will be with the phenomena, seem to have only strengthened their belief in it. The spiritualists are convinced that the dead spirits communicate and proves the spirit's that proves the spirit's immortality. Because they could communicate, and that proves the spirit's immortality. There is also another belief, no information in the other world or other worlds can be known otherwise than through medium, is what the spiritualists believe. Spiritualists, says Madam Blavatsky, don't care for past records or history. Even if they are conscious of the history, they believe that will have no bearing or impact on what they are experiencing or experimenting. H.P. Blavatsky says, lots of problems were solved by theologians, and they have left the keys, the solutions which can be used to attain knowledge. HPB wonders whether it is possible that nature has changed. She's just wondering because they continue to be in the same vein. The spiritualists are continuing to be in the same old method, and she is wondering whether nature has changed its work, and are we experiencing the presence of different spirits, or have the laws changed, have the natural laws changed? She knows the answer, nature doesn't change, but she's just wondering why such a continuance of the spiritualist method of works are continuing. That's why she says, is it because the nature has changed its work, and are we experiencing the presence of different kind of spirits, or have the laws of the nature changed? These are all the questions which she has raised. And she knows the answer. The nature doesn't change. The laws of the nature, they don't change. But she's just wondering because the spiritualists are not able to move away from certain fallacies. Spiritualist imagines he knows more than the priest class or theologians who have spent lifetimes studying these spirits. When the work of the ancient theologians are probably understood through patient study, it will mark a new dawn, says Madam Blavatsky. When it is properly understood, when the work of the ancient theologians is properly understood through patient study, it will mark a new dawn, a new beginning. That's what Madam Blavatsky is saying. And new discoveries will be there in the field of psychology, and that will see the light of the day. This is also what Madam Blavatsky is saying. The psychological discoveries also will be there. So this is where we have completed the 9th chapter, which is quite a long chapter, and we have taken a lot of time, I guess, to complete this chapter. So now we move to the chapter 10 of the first volume, which is talking about science, volume 1. So chapter 10 of the first volume, HPB starts and she says, this chapter with quotes of the soul and its powers and characteristics. So she has got the habit of putting a quotation, 1 or 2 or 3 before the chapter begins. And she starts this chapter with quotations about the soul and the powers of the soul and their characteristics. And she starts the contents of the chapter, the beginning of the chapter, by saying, from the time the fetal embryo is formed, from the time the fetal embryo is formed until the person gasps and leaves the body, the scholars of science have not understood the beginning or the end of a life. This is what she is starting with. We have seen that Madam Blavatsky has no kind words for the modern scientists. So she is asking whether they could give an explanation to this. She starts the content of the chapter by saying, from the time the fetal embryo is formed in the mother's womb until the person gasps, means finally he leaves the breathing, the exhaustion, and leaves the body. Through the gasping, he leaves the body. The scholars of the science have not understood the beginning or the end of a life. So neither they know how the life has began and how the life is ending. Also they are not able to say. And what takes birth and dies? What is that takes birth and dies is also not explained by them. So neither the beginning nor the end of a life has been decoded by modern science. This is what Madam Blavatsky is saying in the 10th chapter. She says, the beginning or the end of a life is not known to them. From where the life has come and where the life has gone, the scientists are not able to explain. What takes birth and what dies is also not being explained by the modern science. So this is not being decoded by modern science, is what Madam Blavatsky is saying. No relationship has been established by science between spirit, soul and body, whether it is before the birth or after the death. This is another sentence of Madam Blavatsky. No relationship has been established by science between spirit, soul and body, whether before the birth or after death. The life principle itself is something not explained, still unsolvable enigma. The life principle itself is something not explained, still unsolvable enigma. Enigma is something which we don't understand. So for the scientist, this process of coming into life and dying, they're not able to understand. So the first few lines of the chapter 10, she is talking about the limitations of the modern scientist. Not many have found out even today, I guess. She starts by saying, from the time the fetal embryo is formed in the mother's womb until the person gasps and dies and leaves the body, the scholars of science have not understood the beginning or the end of the life. From where this life has come and where this life has gone after death also is not explained by them. Which is the thing which is taking the birth and which is the thing which is dying, also they are not able to explain. So neither the beginning nor the end of a life has been decoded by modern scientists or modern science. This is the initial observation of Madam Blavatsky. No relationship has been established by science between spirit, soul and body. No relationship has been established by science between spirit, soul and body, whether before the birth or after the death of a person. So, the life principle itself is something not explained, still unsolvable enigma. Materialism or the material science has wasted time and powers. Still, they're not able to find answers. The materialism and material science has wasted time and powers. Still, they're yet to find the answers. Before a corpse is C-O-R-P-S-E, before a corpse, if a doubting psychologist is asked by his pupil from where the tenant of this body came or where did it go, the psychologist also is not able to answer. Materialism or material science has wasted time and powers, yet they're not able to find the answers. Before a corpse, if a doubting psychologist is asked by his pupil from where the tenant of this body came or where did it go or where did he go, the psychologist is not able to answer. It is not possible to find an answer in the books, says Madam Blavatsky. It's not possible to find an answer in the books. There is no explanation as to how protoplasm, cells were formed, how the vital force entered and vitalized these cells, and how the vital body becomes an immobile corpse at the end of the life. So this is what is the observation of Madam Blavatsky. It's not possible to find an answer in the books. There is no explanation as to how protoplasm, cells were formed. Protoplasm is a liquid which is there in the cells. Protoplasm, cells were formed, how the vital force entered and vitalized the body, and how the vital body becomes an immobile corpse. So the books will not give an explanation to this. Science and theology are two great rivals. This is an observation of Madame Blavatsky. Science and theology are two great rivals and experience frequent fights or skirmishes, difference of opinions. Science and theology are two great rivals and experience frequent fights or skirmish also means fight. Skirmish also means fight. Not necessarily beating each other, but then the opinions differ. That's what it means. Science and theology are two great rivals and experience frequent fights or skirmishes, difference of opinions, etc. It is no use fighting with scientists who have already researched and proved a concept and it has become a law. So she says there's no point in fighting with a scientist who has already researched and proved a concept and it has become a law. So where people have accepted the observation as a law, so there's no point in fighting with it. Only when there is an improvement over the previous finding, the old law is not, the old law is getting replaced. Okay. So, an ordinary individual cannot fight with a scientist because it has been proved. There is no use fighting scientists who have already researched and proved a concept and it has become a law. Only when there is an improvement, means the existing law or existing concept has been improved upon over the previous finding, the old law is then getting replaced. Even scientists have an Achilles heel. Even scientists have an Achilles heel. A vulnerable point, we can say. So this is the observation of science and theology. Science and theology are two great rivals and experience frequent fights or skirmishes or difference of opinions. It is no use fighting with scientists who have already researched and proved a concept and it has become a law. Only when there is an improvement over the previous finding, the old law is getting replaced by a new law or an improvement. Even scientists have an Achilles heel, a vulnerable point. We can only face them when they say they do not know. So only when the scientists say, I'm not able to explain this, that is their vulnerable point. Why is she saying this? She talked about the spirit escaping or the life escaping from the body and the life entering into a particular womb of the embryo. So they are not able to explain that. So that's why she's saying now, even scientists have an Achilles heel, a vulnerable point. We can only face them when they say they do not know. Only when they express a feeling, we're not able to understand this, only that's their Achilles heel. That is the vulnerable point which they can have. Otherwise, we cannot fight with them because they've already established it as a law. That law can be only replaced by a new finding of an improvement over the existing law. That's possible. But mostly it is not possible. And even scientists have an Achilles heel, a vulnerable point. We can only face them when they say they do not know. Most of you know what is Achilles heel? I guess Achilles was a Greek legend. Achilles, the person, was a Greek legend born with a deformity at the heel. Mother of Achilles tried to make him immortal, and she held the boy by his heel and dropped him in the river. The heel which the mother held became his weak, vulnerable point. We use normally that expression to talk about a weakness or a vulnerability of an individual. So this is what Achilles heel is all about. Achilles is a person, a Greek origin, a Greek legend. So scientists have an Achilles heel, a vulnerable point, only when they accept that they do not know. We can only face them when they say they do not know. Otherwise, we cannot face them because they have proved it beyond point by their experiments and all that. So that's what Madam is saying. So what is Achilles heel also is explained just for the sake of information. H.P. Blavatsky says, the modern scientist also is fallible, means capable of making mistakes. HPB says the modern scientist is fallible. Infallible means he cannot make mistake, but fallible is he is capable of making mistakes or capable of making a wrong assumption. HPB says the modern scientist is fallible. Some extraordinary authenticated facts will form part of this chapter, says Madam Blavatsky. Some extraordinary authenticated facts will form part of this chapter, says Madam Blavatsky, which will prove the above point. What is the above point? HPB says the modern scientist is fallible. He is capable of making mistakes, capable of making a wrong assumption. So some extraordinary activities, some extraordinary authenticated facts, not activity. Some extraordinary authenticated facts will form part of this chapter, says Madam Blavatsky, which will prove the above point. HPB says facts of nature can never be tested by retort, that is arguing about it. Retorting is arguing or using words and trying to win over the argument. HPB says facts of nature can never be tested by retort, that is arguing, or crucible. Crucible has many meanings. One of the meaning crucible is waging a war against it. Waging a war against it. So nature cannot be tested by retort. You cannot argue about it. Similarly, you cannot wage a war against it. So if you wage a war, nature will win ultimately. That's what it means. So HPB is saying extraordinary authenticated facts will form part of this chapter number 10. So she says that will prove the above point, which is the modern scientist is capable of making mistakes or capable of making wrong assumptions. That's what it is being proved. And while saying that, she says nature can never be tested by retort. That is arguing about it, or crucible, meaning here waging a war against nature. Nature is supreme. HPB is giving quotes of Pere Felix of Notre Dame. This is the name of a person. HPB is giving quotes of Pere Felix of Notre Dame. Maybe that's the place of Notre Dame. Pere Felix is the name of the person. From the lectures of Le Mystery et al. Science. This is the lecture or the oratory which this Pere Felix of Notre Dame did. And from the lectures of that Le Mystery et al. Science, she is quoting. And she says they have been translated, this oratory or lecture was translated and quoted as this preacher or this teacher of church silenced for a time the arrogance of the traditional enemy, that is scientists. So he could argue, he could shout his way through, he could orate. This oratory has been translated and quoted as this preacher or this teacher of the church silenced for a time the arrogance of the traditional enemy. Who is the enemy of the religion or theology? It is science, the modern science. So, for a time, means temporarily, at least the arrogance of the traditional enemy, that is the science and scientists, could be silenced. That's what she says. These words were delivered in a church before the clergymen, before the superior clergymen who were very senior to him in the church. The cathedral was overflowing with people on that day who came to listen to the oratory of Pere Felix. Felix is F-E-L-I-X. Pere is P-E-R-E. And on top of E there is a hyphen, which means Pere Felix. It's elongated. Pere Felix. So this is the oratory or lecture Madame Blavatsky is quoting in this chapter, trying to prove that the scientists also can make mistakes, scientists also can make wrong assumptions. So this is what she is saying now in the chapter 10. While saying that, she talked about nature, and nature cannot be faulted. We can't fight with nature. We can't argue anything about nature. Nature finds itself supreme. So that's another point which she made. So now, these words were delivered in a church before the clergymen, other clergymen who were much superior to him, and that cathedral, means that church, was overflowing with people who came to listen to the oratory of Pere Felix. We'll see at least one or two extracts of that. A pompous word has been used against Christianity. This is how he begins. A pompous word has been used against Christianity, and that word is science. This is the first translation of the first sentence of that Pere Felix, the church priest or father. A pompous word has been used against Christianity. That word is science. They find fault with our words, meaning the words which we use in the church, the scientists finds fault with them. They find fault with our words. They, meaning scientists, use strong words which shock most of us. So, a pompous word has been used against Christianity, and that word is science. Pomp means it is something which is boasting of itself. So a pompous word has been used against Christianity, a bombastic word has been used against Christianity. That word is science. They find fault with our words. So whatever words we're using in describing the ultimate, they're finding fault. They, meaning scientists, use strong words which shock most of us. So they are using strong words to condemn what's happening in the church. That's what it means. Or what is being spoken in the church. Scientists quick to respond and shout down Christianity. Shout down means they want to silence the church. The scientists quick to respond to whatever is being said in the church. Not only that, they would like to shout down Christianity. By using their voice, the scientists, by using their voice, they would like to silence the words of the priest class. This is what it means. When the church says revelation, when the church says or uses the word revelation, they say it is not scientific. When the church says revelation, they, meaning scientists, say it is not scientific. When we say a miracle, when we say the word a miracle, they say again it is not scientific. They, meaning scientists again. So this is what he is saying. A pompous word has been used against Christianity. That word is science. They find fault with our words, the words which we use in the church. They, that is scientists, use strong words which shock most of us. Scientists are quick to respond and shout us down and shout down Christianity. So they would like to bring down the power of Christianity, or they win against Christianity by using stronger words. This is what that Pere Felix is talking about. When the church says revelation, they say it is not scientific. When we say a miracle, they say again it is not scientific. They refers to the scientists. The science is trying to kill Christianity. This is a big charge, isn't it? The science is trying to kill Christianity. Scientists say what they proclaim is full of light. Scientists say what they proclaim is full of light. What the church says is full of darkness. This is what scientists are saying. Scientists say what they proclaim is full of light. What the churches say or what church says is full of darkness. What branch of science is trying to devour Christianity is not known. What branch of science is trying to devour Christianity is not known. Science in general is trying to crush us, the Christians. This is the observation of Pere Felix. This is the observation of Pere Felix. So, she has used these words, she has used this translation, this piece of lecture which Pere Felix gave in a cathedral to prove a point. The point is that the science is not able to explain few things, and when we talk about that, they beat a hasty retreat. And so this is what she is saying, and we can prove a point here. Pere Felix, from the lectures of Lee Mystery et la Science, as again science it means, they have been translated and quoted as this preacher, this teacher, silence for a time at least the arrogance of the traditional enemy, that is science. These words were delivered in a church before clergymen who were much superior to him, in understanding. And the cathedral was overflowing with people who came to listen to the oratory of Pere Felix. And he starts saying, a pompous word has been used against Christianity, and that word is science. They find fault with our words. The words which we use in the church, the scientists is finding, they, scientists meaning, use strong words which shock most of us. Scientists are quick to respond and shout down Christianity and shout us down. So they do this. They use their vocal cords, their power to shout down Christianity, is what Pere Felix is saying. When the church says revelation, because this is the usual phrases of the religion, it's a revelation. Suppose the church says it is a revelation, they say it is not scientific. They meaning scientists. When we say a miracle, they say again it is not scientific. The science is trying to kill Christianity. Scientists say what they proclaim is full of light. This is what he is saying. Still, Pere Felix is quoting scientists. Scientists say what they proclaim is full of light. What the church says is full of darkness. What branch of science is trying to devour Christianity is not known. But science in general is trying to crush us, the Christians. This is what he is saying. The scientists are prophesying that they will overthrow Christianity. The scientists are prophesying that they will overthrow Christianity. The church teaches mysteries. The church recognizes mysteries. The modern scientists are against Christian mysteries. The church teaches mysteries. The mysteries are explained in the church. The modern scientists are against Christian mysteries. Mystery means for us negating common sense. This is what Pere Felix is saying. Mystery means for us negating common sense. It's so much like a usual thing when we say mystery, but they're not prepared to buy that. They simply denounce it. So mystery means for us negating common sense. So as if common sense is not there. Because they are not accepting mystery, it is negating common sense. That's what Pere Felix is intending to say. Science is condemning, repelling science has anathema. Anathema means vehement dislike. So science is condemning, repelling, and science has anathema. They have anathema towards religion, anathema towards revelation, anathema towards mysteries. Vehement dislike, that's what it means. Vehement dislike for Christianity. Mystery doesn't mean we're against science. This is what Pere Felix is saying. Mystery doesn't mean that we are against science. So many geniuses have accepted our mysteries for the past 2000 years. For the past 2000 years. So many geniuses have accepted our mysteries for the past 2000 years. There were scientists before the year 1789. This is what Pere Felix is saying. So many geniuses have accepted our mysteries for the past 2000 years. There were scientists before the year 1789. They have all accepted mysteries without doubting. They have all accepted mysteries without doubting. Mystery implies no contradicting of science. So, we are not against science is what the religious teacher is saying. Mystery doesn't mean we're against science. That's one statement. The second statement, mystery implies no contradicting of science. If proved what with metaphysical abstractions, how can science reconcile with mystery? If proved with metaphysical abstractions, what the mind cannot understand. That's how the proofs are given in science. If proved what with metaphysical abstractions, how can science reconcile with mystery? So mystery cannot be understood so easily, or mystery cannot be reconciled with science, because science is using a different method of metaphysical abstractions to prove their point. Mystery is baffling the science and scientists. Mystery is baffling the science and scientists. Science cannot escape mystery. Though they are trying to move away from mystery, Mr. Pere Felix says, science cannot escape mystery. Mystery is the fatality of science. If they don't accept, what happens is, mystery will strike the death bell for science. That's what he is saying. Mystery is the fatality of science. The wrong beliefs of science will be killed by mystery. The wrong beliefs of science will be killed by mystery. So this is what Pere Felix, he has talked some more things, but we will stop here for the day. So Pere Felix is a teacher, is giving an oratory in a church before other superior people, he's taking on, or he's trying to oppose the science which was trying to disturb Christianity and bring down the value of Christianity during that time. So this is something which Madam Blavatsky has put it as quote, and they have been taken from his lecture. Okay, that's it for the day. So we have finished the 9th chapter. The 10th chapter has begun, and the 10th chapter starts with this sort of picture where there's a lot of doubting the science or expressing the inability of the science as to where the life has come from, where the life has gone, how the life entered into embryo, how the life escaped from an old man. These things are not able to be explained by scientists, and perhaps wherever they say we do not know, that is their Achilles heel. And the way the Christian priest Pere Felix opposed the scientists, and said that all these things are the facts of the church, and how science is not able to accept. Science is not able to accept the revelation. Science is not able to accept mystery. If mystery is not accepted, it defines common sense, says Pere Felix. So that's the lesson for the day, or that is the portion we have considered for the day.
Yes, sir. Thank you, sir. Thank you all.